If you're new to yoga, you might have heard of yoga props or yoga equipment, but have no idea what you use them for. So in this video, I'm going to show you my favorite yoga props and how you can use them to make your practice easier or more comfortable or more supported, because that's really what they're for. So my first favorite prop, of course, is a yoga mat. And particularly at the moment with COVID, it's really important, I think, to have your own mat, even if you're going to classes. I think that protects you from, just in case you need to be protected from COVID wherever you are. So yoga mats are tricky ones because we all like different things. This yoga mat that I've got here is actually a really inexpensive one from Kmart. But what I love about it is it's quite thick, but it's not too squishy. So the yoga mats that you can get quite inexpensively that are really thick and squishy can feel great when you're on the ground, but as soon as you're standing on the mat, it can feel really uncomfortable and really unsafe. So I like something that is going to stick to the ground, that's not too squishy, but that does have a little bit of support. Now you can also get quite thin yoga mats, which are great because they do stick to the ground. They're less likely to, move underneath your feet or underneath your knees. But they might not be enough thickness for you. So sometimes 2 yoga mats can be a really good help. And I'm going to show you a few other hacks if you find that your yoga mat's not thick enough, particularly if you're on your hands and knees. So let's move to the next one, the next favorite prop. And that is a yoga block or a brick, sometimes they're called. So these ones are just from Kmart. They're really inexpensive, but most sporting goods shops will have them as well because apparently Kmart go in and out of stock of these. But I love yoga blocks because they're really, really versatile. So even though I'm a yoga teacher, I'm quite tight in the hips. So I often use the yoga blocks to sit on, particularly at the beginning of the class when I don't have much flexibility in my hips. They're good to use if you're doing, say, a triangle pose and you can't quite get your hand to the ground. You can use this as a prop instead. They're great for helping you get from a low lunge to a high lunge. So obviously I'm not showing you all those poses right now, but just believe me when I say one of these, and actually I think everyone should have 2 of these, are really helpful because they're quite supportive for yin yoga poses, lots of different poses. So if you can get your hands on 2 blocks, highly recommend it. And again, even if you're going to a class, get your own because COVID. My third favorite prop, which you can get when you get a block from Kmart, but you can easily get these elsewhere, is a yoga strap. So yoga straps are used to help you with some extra space when you need it. So let's say, for instance, you're doing this eagle arms and you can't reach your hands and clasp your hands together. You can actually use the strap to give you some space there. Or often we use the strap around our feet to help us do hamstring stretches. Lots of reasons to use the strap. So as I said, if you get your block from Kmart, you'll get a strap with the block, but otherwise have an eye out for straps. I've heard sometimes they're a bit hard to get your hands on, but you know what, you can use, I've heard of people using silk scarves, or you can use a belt that you've got at home, or if you've got old straps that you used to use to put stuff on the roof rack, you can use that as well. It doesn't have to be pretty, we just want it to be functional. So yoga strap. The next one is a bolster. Now this is a bolster that's actually been made locally by a group called Active, which help employ people with disabilities. And then what they've done is they've actually cut a leg off some pants that were donated to their charity shop and then filled it up with old clothes. That's one way of having a bolster. You can buy yoga bolsters that are already made, and of course they're fantastic, but they can be a little bit expensive. Or you can make your own yoga bolster using towels and a pillow slip. And I will find a link to that and put it in the comments of this video. So that can be really, really handy as well. Now, bolsters are great because you can use them actually in a lot of ways, not always, but in a lot of the ways that you use your yoga block. So you can put it under your knees when you're in Shavasana, you can sit on it, but we use bolsters quite a lot in yin yoga and restorative yoga, and it's cuddly. Who doesn't want to be cuddly? So that's another prop you would love to get, is a bolster. And then our last one, talking about cuddly, is a blanket. So this is a blanket that I got from a yoga props shop, but you know, it doesn't have to be a specific yoga blanket. You can use any kind of blanket that you like. But yoga blankets are really, really versatile. So like I talked about using a block to sit on if my hips are feeling tight, I can just roll up my, my blanket and sit on the edge of the blanket. I can use the blanket under my knees like a bolster. I can use my blanket, of course, in Shavasana when it's winter and I'm feeling cold and I just want to be snuggly. I mean, you could probably even use your blanket a little bit like the strap if you don't have one, to give you that extra space. So there's lots of ways you can use a blanket. What I love about these yoga ones is they're quite thin, so that they're quite versatile in that way. So you may want to invest in a specific yoga blanket, but you can use any kind of blanket you want. Hi, this is Editing Emma here. I just realized I forgot to tell you one other thing about blankets. They're really great if you get sore knees. So if you need extra support under your knees when you're in hands and knees tabletop position, a thinner blanket like this is great because you can fold it over and get the thickness that you want, but still feel like you're stable and supported. If you have a really fluffy blanket, you might feel like you're a little bit uneven, but these blankets are really great for helping you get support under your knees, padding under your knees so those tabletop positions don't feel so uncomfortable. So I just thought I'd jump in and let you know about that. So they're my favorite props for yoga. They make yoga cuddlier, they make yoga easier, they make yoga feel more supported, and they can just be really, really handy, and I use them quite a lot in my classes. So keep an eye out for those props, pick some up when you can, and hopefully I'll see you one day in one of my classes here in Albany, or you can check out my online yoga program called Go with the Flow. Thanks for watching. See you next time.